The sun was setting over New Seoul as Tae-ho Kim wiped the grease from his hands. His workshop sat at the edge of the city, a small building made of metal sheets and salvaged parts. It wasn't much, but it was his. Another day, another broken machine, Tae-ho said to himself as he looked at the pile of work waiting for tomorrow. He was tired but happy. Fixing things gave him purpose. Earth in the year 2187 was different from what it had been. Now it was part of something bigger called the Galactic Assembly. Many aliens visited Earth, but they didn't care much about the planet. To them, Earth was just a place to get materials and sometimes hire cheap workers. Tae-ho was good at fixing things. Not just Earth machines, but alien technology too. People from the city brought him broken hover bikes, old farming robots, and sometimes strange devices from other worlds. He never asked too many questions. He just fixed what needed fixing. That morning, something had crashed in the hills behind his workshop. Tae-ho had hiked out to see what it was. He found a small ship half buried in the dirt. It wasn't from Earth. The design was too smooth, too perfect. No human made this. He looked inside the broken ship and found strange boxes with blinking lights. One box was open, showing small blue crystals that glowed in the shadows of the ship. Tae-ho knew enough about alien tech to know these weren't normal cargo. The crystals pulsed with energy that made his skin tingle when he got too close. Smuggling, he whispered. Only illegal goods gave off that kind of energy. The Galactic Assembly had strict rules about moving certain materials between planets. Someone was breaking those rules. Tae-ho took one small crystal and some damaged parts from the ship back to his workshop. He wanted to understand what they were. It was just curiosity, but that curiosity would soon put him in danger. Across the galaxy far from Earth, Lady Ji-eun was angry. She stood on the bridge of her main ship, looking at the stars through a large window. Behind her, her crew worked quietly, afraid to make her more upset. "The ship is not responding to signals," said a nervous crew member. "Last tracking shows it crashed on Earth." Ji-eun turned, her face cold. She was beautiful, but harsh. Her clothes were black with silver designs that matched the silver streaks in her dark hair. She ran the largest shipping company in 3-star systems. At least that's what people thought. The truth was that shipping regular goods was just a cover. "What was on that ship?" she asked, her voice quiet but sharp. "The new crystal fuel." "Lady Ji-eun, the test batch for the buyer on Centauri Prime." Ji-eun closed her eyes for a moment. The crystal fuel was her biggest secret project. If the Galactic Assembly found out she was making it, she would lose everything. The crystals were powerful, but dangerous. They were banned for good reason. Who might find the ship? The crew member checked his screen. Scanners show a small human settlement nearby. Just a small city. Nothing important. Ji-eun walked to another room, one that few people were allowed to enter. The walls were lined with tanks filled with blue liquid. In one tank, something large moved. It came close to the glass, showing its face. It looked like a tiger from old Earth, but bigger. Much bigger. Its fur had glowing blue stripes that pulsed with light. Its eyes were intelligent and focused on Ji-eun. "Sunho," she said to the creature. "I have a job for you." The creature, called Sunho, wasn't just an animal. It was a neon stalker, created in Ji-eun's secret labs by mixing animal DNA with alien genes. Sunho was smarter than any natural animal, stronger than 10 men, and completely loyal to Ji-eun. The neural implant in its brain made sure of that. Loyalty. Ji-eun pressed a button and the liquid drained from the tank. Sunho stepped out, water falling from its massive body. It was the size of a small car, with muscles that moved like liquid metal under its wet fur. "We have a problem on Earth," she told the creature as she connected a small device to its neural implant. "A ship crashed. Someone might find what's inside. I'm sending you to clean up the problem." Sunho didn't speak, but its eyes showed understanding. The neural implant let Ji-eun share images directly to its brain. She showed it pictures of Earth, the crash site, and what it needed to do. The final image was a human male taken from orbital scanners near the crash site. "Tae-ho, find this human, kill him, destroy any evidence, then return." Sun-ho growled softly, a sound of acceptance. It followed Ji-un to a small transport ship. Hours later, it was sealed in a special container, heading for Earth at high speed. Back on Earth, Tae-ho was looking at the crystal under a modified microscope in his workshop. He didn't understand what he was seeing. The crystal seemed to be alive somehow, growing and changing as he watched. He had never seen anything like it. A noise outside made him look up. Night had fallen while he was working. Through the dirty window, he could see the moon rising over the hills. Just the wind, he told himself, but he felt uneasy. He looked back at the crystal. Whatever this thing was, it was valuable and dangerous. Maybe he should tell someone about the crashed ship. But who? The local Earth government didn't care about alien problems, and the Galactic Assembly officials rarely came to places like New Seoul. Tae-ho decided he would think about it tomorrow. He carefully put the crystal in a small box and hid it under a loose floor panel. Then he washed his hands and face in a basin of water. As he was getting ready to sleep on the small bed in the corner of his workshop, he heard another sound. This time, it wasn't the wind. It was a soft thud, like something heavy landing on the roof. Tae-ho grabbed a wrench, the biggest one he had. His heart beat faster as he moved toward the door. Outside, in the moonlight, two glowing blue eyes watched the workshop from the shadows. Sun-ho had arrived, and it had found its target. For 3 nights, Sun-ho watched the human mechanic. The big cat moved like a shadow around the workshop, studying Tae-ho's habits. The neural implant in Sun-ho's head kept showing the same command from Ji-un: kill the human, destroy the evidence. But Sun-ho was confused. This human was not like the enemies Ji-un usually sent him to kill. Those targets were often armed guards or rival smugglers. This human was just a simple mechanic who lived alone in a small workshop. On the 3rd night, Sun-ho watched through a window as Tae-ho fixed a small robot for a young girl. The girl had no money to pay him. "It's okay," Tae-ho told her with a kind smile. "Just help someone else when you can." After the girl left, an old man came with a broken water filter. Again, Tae-ho asked for no payment. "Clean water is a right, not a luxury," he said to the man. Sun-ho had never seen someone help others without wanting something in return. In Ji-un's world, everything had a price. The predator felt something new: doubt. Still, orders were orders. Sun-ho would finish the job tomorrow night. Tae-ho couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. For days, he had sensed eyes on him. Sometimes he caught a flash of blue light in the darkness outside his workshop, but when he looked closer, nothing was there. He was worried about the crystal he had found. After more research, he realized it was some kind of new energy source, probably illegal. People who dealt in such things were dangerous. Maybe he should get rid of it. That night, as Tae-ho was closing his workshop, he heard voices outside. Rough, angry voices. "This is the place." The old man said the mechanic has alien tech in there. Tae-ho looked through a crack in the door. 5 men stood outside carrying energy weapons that glowed red in the dark. "Local criminals who stole and sold whatever they could find. We take everything valuable. If he fights, we shoot him," said the leader, a tall man with a scar across his face. Tae-ho stepped back from the door. He had no weapons, no way to fight 5 armed men. He looked around for a place to hide. Before he could move, the door burst open. "Don't move, mechanic," shouted the leader. "We heard you found something good. Tell us where it is." From the roof of the workshop, Sun-ho watched through a small hole. The predator was surprised. It had planned to kill the human tonight, but now these criminals might do the job instead. Sun-ho should just wait and then clean up afterward. Inside, Tae-ho raised his hands. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Don't play stupid," said the leader, pointing his weapon at Tae-ho's chest. "The alien ship in the hills. You were there. What did you take?" Another criminal started searching the workshop, throwing tools and parts on the floor. "Boss, look at this," he called, holding up the box with the crystal that he had found under the loose floor panel. The leader smiled. "Give it here." As he reached for the box, a shot from another criminal's weapon hit a fuel tank in the corner. The tank exploded, sending fire and smoke everywhere. In the chaos, Taeho ran out the back door. Sunho was about to jump down from the roof when a piece of burning metal hit the predator in the side. The hot metal burned through fur and skin. Sunho roared in pain and fell from the roof, landing hard on the ground behind the workshop. Taeho heard the roar over the sound of the fire. It didn't sound human. He turned and saw something large lying on the ground. In the light of the fire, he could see blue stripes glowing on dark fur. It was some kind of big cat, bigger than any tiger Taeho had ever seen. It was hurt. A piece of metal stuck in its side. The creature growled as Taeho approached, showing teeth as long as fingers. Taeho should have run. Any normal person would run from a wounded predator. But Taeho wasn't normal. He had spent his life fixing broken things, and right now this creature was broken. "Easy," he said softly, moving closer with his hands open. "I'm not going to hurt you." Sunho was confused. The human should be running in fear. Instead, he was approaching slowly, talking in a calm, gentle voice. The pain from the wound made it hard for Sunho to think clearly. "You're not from Earth," Taeho said, now close enough to see the creature better. He noticed something metal attached to the big cat's head. "You're engineered. Someone made you." The workshop was burning. The criminals were searching through the flames for the crystal. Taeho knew he had little time. "I'm going to help you," he told the predator. "But we need to move away from here first." To Sunho's surprise, the human tore off his own shirt and pressed it against the wound. The pressure helped with the pain. This made no sense. Sunho had come to kill this human. Why was the human helping? Slowly, carefully, Taeho guided the injured predator away from the burning workshop and into a small cave in the nearby hills. The criminals were too busy fighting over the crystal to notice them leave. In the cave, Taeho worked by the light of his small flashlight. He removed the metal piece from Sunho's side. The wound was bad but not fatal. As he cleaned it, he talked softly to the creature. "I recognize this technology on your head. Neural interface. Someone's controlling you, aren't they?" Sunho watched the human with new interest. How did this simple mechanic know about neural interfaces? "I've fixed alien tech for years," Taeho explained, as if sensing the question. "Seen all kinds of things. Never seen a creature like you before, though." As he worked on the wound, Taeho carefully examined the neural implant on Sunho's head. "This is high-tech stuff. Whoever owns you is powerful." Sunho growled softly. "You don't like that word, do you? Own. I don't blame you. No living thing should be owned by another." With gentle hands, Taeho bandaged the wound. Then, very carefully, he touched the neural implant. "I bet I could modify this. Not remove it completely, but change it. Give you more freedom." Sunho stayed still, unsure why. The human's hands moved to the neural implant. They were skilled hands that knew how to fix complex things. For the first time since being created in Ji-eun's lab, Sunho felt something like hope. "There," Taeho said after working for an hour. "I've changed the settings. You should have more control now. The person who sent you can still track you, still send you commands, but you can choose whether to follow them." Sunho felt the difference immediately. The constant pressure of Ji-eun's commands was now just a soft suggestion in the back of its mind. Sunho could think more clearly, could make choices. The first choice Sunho made was not to kill Taeho Kim. Instead, the massive predator leaned forward and gently touched its head to the human's shoulder, a gesture of thanks. Taeho smiled. "You're welcome, big cat. I think this is the start of an interesting friendship." Morning light filtered into the cave. Taeho woke up with a start, his back stiff from sleeping on the rocky ground. For a moment, he thought the events of the night before had been a dream. Then he saw the massive creature watching him from the other side of the cave. The big cat's blue stripes glowed softly in the dim light. Its wounded side rose and fell with each breath, the bandage Taeho had made still in place. "Good morning," Taeho said, sitting up slowly. How's your side feeling? Sun-Ho blinked at him. The predator could understand human speech, but couldn't speak back. Instead, it stood up carefully, testing its injured side. The pain was less today. The human's care had helped. Taeho reached out a hesitant hand. To his surprise, Sun-Ho moved forward and let him touch its head. The fur was soft and warm. The metal neural implant felt cold under his fingers. I still can't believe someone sent you to kill me, Taeho said. Those crystals from the ship must be very important. Sun-Ho made a low sound in its throat. Through the modified neural implant, the big cat could now share simple feelings and images with anyone who touched it. Taeho saw flashes in his mind. A woman with silver-streaked hair, a large ship, rows of tanks with creatures inside. Ji-un, Taeho said, picking up the name from the images. She's your owner. She created you. Sun-Ho growled at the word owner again. Sorry, not owner. Your maker? Taeho suggested. The big cat seemed to accept this word. More images flowed into Taeho's mind. The crystal fuel, smuggling routes, Ji-un's secret labs where she created beings like Sun-Ho to serve her. She's breaking so many laws, Taeho whispered. Making sentient weapons, smuggling banned materials, gene splicing. Sun-Ho pulled away, breaking the mental connection. The big cat looked toward the cave entrance, ears perked up. It had heard something. Taeho listened too. In the distance, he could hear the hum of engines. Someone's coming, he said. We need to see who it is. Together, they crept to the edge of the hill overlooking what remained of Taeho's workshop. 3 sleek ships had landed near the burnt building. They were not Earth vehicles. They had the smooth, perfect design of high-tech alien ships. People in black uniforms were searching through the ashes of the workshop. Even from a distance, Taeho could tell they weren't local criminals. They moved with military precision. One of them held a device that looked like it was tracking something. They're looking for you, Taeho said to Sun-Ho. Ji-un must have sent them when you didn't report back. Sun-Ho's fur bristled. Through the neural implant, Taeho felt waves of fear and anger coming from the big cat. These were Ji-un's mercenaries, hired killers who worked for her smuggling operation. If they found Sun-Ho with the neural implant modified, they would reset it or destroy the defective predator. We need to leave Earth, Taeho said suddenly. Both of us. If we stay, they'll find us eventually. Sun-Ho turned to look at the human, surprised. Leave Earth? Go where? To find Ji-un, Taeho said, as if he had heard the unspoken question. I can help you, and you can help me. I can completely remove that neural implant, give you total freedom. But I need your help to get off this planet and find proof of what Ji-un is doing. Sun-Ho considered this offer. The big cat had never imagined freedom from Ji-un. The neural implant had been part of its existence from the beginning. To be completely free, to make all its own choices. The idea was both exciting and frightening. After a moment, Sun-Ho lowered its massive head in agreement. A deal between predator and mechanic. Good, Taeho said. Now we just need a ship. They watched as the mercenaries continued their search. One of the ships had been left with only a single guard. If they could reach it, maybe they could steal it. I have an idea, Taeho said, but it's a bit crazy. Back at the crashed ship in the hills, Taeho searched through the wreckage. He found what he was looking for: control panels and interface technology. Working quickly, he modified pieces of the ship's control systems. If we're going to travel together, he explained to Sun-Ho as he worked, we need a way to communicate better, and a way for me to hold on when you run. Using wires, metal parts, and his mechanical skills, Taeho created a makeshift saddle and control interface. The saddle would fit on Sun-Ho's back. The control interface connected to the neural implant, allowing Taeho to communicate with Sun-Ho more directly. Ready to try it? Taeho asked, holding up his creation. Sun-Ho looked at the strange contraption with doubt, but stood still as Taeho carefully attached it. The saddle felt odd on the big cat's back, but not uncomfortable. The interface connected to the neural implant with a soft click. Suddenly, Taeho and Sun-Ho could share thoughts much more clearly. Not complete thoughts, but images, feelings. and simple ideas flowed between them. Sunho felt the humans' excitement and nervousness. Taiho felt the predator's strength and speed waiting to be unleashed. "This is amazing," Taiho said. "Now let's get that ship." As the sun began to set, they put their plan into action. Taiho climbed onto Sunho's back, holding onto the saddle. Through their mental connection, they coordinated their movements perfectly. The mercenaries were gathered near Taiho's burnt workshop, discussing their next steps. The guard at the ship was alone, looking bored as he watched the empty hills. "Now," Taiho thought, and Sunho burst from their hiding place. The big cat moved faster than any earth animal could, its powerful muscles carrying both of them down the hill at incredible speed. The guard saw them coming and raised his weapon, but too late. Sunho leaped, covering 20 feet in a single bound, and knocked the guard unconscious with a precise strike of its paw. Taiho jumped from Sunho's back and ran into the ship. His hands moved quickly over the control panel. He had fixed enough alien technology to understand the basics of how the ship worked. "I can fly this," he called to Sunho. "Get in." The big cat jumped into the ship just as the other mercenaries spotted them. Energy weapons fired, hitting the side of the ship as Taiho closed the door. "Hold on," Taiho said as he activated the engines. The ship rose from the ground, wobbly at first as Taiho learned the controls, then smoother as he gained confidence. The other mercenary ships began to lift off in pursuit. "We need to get into space before they catch us," Taiho said. Sunho moved to stand beside the pilot's seat, placing a massive paw on Taiho's shoulder. Through their connection, the big cat shared its knowledge of the ship's weapons systems. Ji-un had made sure. Her assassin understood the tools it might need to use. Taiho grinned. "Perfect. You take the weapons, I'll fly." As they shot up toward the stars, the pursuing ships gained on them. Sunho used its mind to aim the ship's weapons, firing with precision that kept their enemies at a distance. Earth grew smaller below them. Neither Taiho nor Sunho looked back as they broke through the atmosphere into open space. Their home was behind them. Ahead lay the vast galaxy, and somewhere in it, Ji-un. "Ready for a real adventure, partner?" Taiho asked. Sunho's answering roar filled the ship. The hunt had begun, but this time, the predator was not hunting for Ji-un. It was hunting with a human, and their prey was the woman who had thought she could control them both. The stolen ship flew through the darkness of space. Inside, Taiho studied the control panels, trying to understand all the systems. He had never left Earth before. The vastness of space both excited and scared him. "We need to find out more about Ji-un and her operation," Taiho said to Sunho, who sat beside him in the co-pilot seat. "The ship's computer might have information." Sunho watched as Taiho's fingers moved across the glowing screens. The big cat's wound was healing well, and the connection between them grew stronger each day. Through the neural interface, Sunho shared knowledge about space travel and Ji-un's network. "According to these files, Ji-un has operations on at least 6 different planets," Taiho said after searching through the ship's data. "The main base is somewhere called Veltar Station. That's probably where we need to go." The screen showed a map of star systems. Veltar Station was marked as a small dot at the edge of known space. It would take them several jumps through hyperspace to reach it. "First, we need supplies and information," Taiho said. "And I need to work on your neural implant more. Let's stop at this trading post. It's called Star's Edge." 3 days later, their ship approached a massive space station that looked like a metal wheel spinning slowly in space. Hundreds of other ships moved around it, coming and going from docks that stuck out from the wheel like spokes. "This is Star's Edge Control." A voice came through the ship's communication system. "Identify yourself and state your business." Taiho hesitated. He couldn't use the mercenary ship's real identification. They would be caught immediately. Sunho nudged his arm and sent an image through their connection. A secret code that Ji-un's ships used when they needed to hide their true purpose. "This is Transport Vessel Moonlight," Taiho said, using the code, requesting permission to dock for supplies and repairs. There was a pause then. "Permission granted, Moonlight. Proceed to Dock 47. They landed the ship carefully. Before leaving, Taeho found some clothes in the ship's storage. A long coat that would cover most of Sunho's body and a hood to hide the neural implant. "You're too big to pass as a normal Earth animal," Taeho told Sunho. "But in a place like this with aliens from all over the galaxy, you might pass as someone's exotic companion if we're careful." Star's Edge was busy and loud, beings of all shapes and sizes moved through wide corridors lined with shops and food stalls. Some looked almost human. Others were so strange that Taeho couldn't guess what they were. No one gave Sunho more than a curious glance. As Taeho had hoped, in this mix of galactic life, even a giant cat with glowing stripes didn't seem too unusual. They found a small shop that sold mechanical parts. The shop owner had 6 arms and skin like blue leather. He looked at Taeho with all 4 of his eyes. "What do you need, human?" he asked in a rough voice. "Neural interface components," Taeho said. "The best quality you have." While the shop owner gathered parts, Taeho overheard 2 beings talking nearby. "Ji-eun's prices for the new crystal fuel are too high," one said. "My captain is looking for another supplier." "There is no other supplier," said the second being. "She's the only one who knows how to make it stable. And now she's created those bioweapons to protect her shipments. Living weapons that think and hunt. They say she's selling them too for the right price." Taeho glanced at Sunho, who had also heard. Bioweapons. That's what Ji-eun considered Sunho to be. Not a living being with thoughts and feelings, but a weapon to be sold. They paid for the parts and found a quiet corner of the station to talk. "She's selling others like you," Taeho said. "We need proof of what she's doing. The Galactic Assembly has laws against creating sentient weapons." Through their neural connection, Sunho shared memories of Ji-eun's labs, rows of tanks with different creatures growing inside them. Some looked like Sunho, big cats with enhanced features. Others were different. Creatures with wings, creatures that could swim, creatures designed for different environments but all created to hunt and kill. "We need to find her main lab," Taeho said. "That's where the evidence will be." As they walked back toward their ship, they passed a public viewing area with large windows looking out into space. A crowd had gathered, watching a news broadcast on a big screen. "Attention," said the announcer. "The Galactic Assembly has issued a warning about dangerous fugitives. A human male and an engineered predator have stolen a ship and are believed to be armed and dangerous. A reward of 1 million credits is offered for information leading to their capture." The screen showed pictures of Taeho and Sunho. The images had been taken when they stole the ship on Earth. "That's not good," Taeho whispered. "Ji-eun must have connections in the assembly to get them to issue that warning." They hurried back to their ship, keeping their heads down. As they approached, they saw figures in uniform standing near their dock. "Security agents," Taeho said. "They're checking ships. We can't go back to ours." They turned and walked quickly, in the other direction. They needed a new ship and they needed it fast. In a quieter part of the station, they found a small dock with only a few ships. One was being loaded with cargo by robots. No people were around. "This might be our only chance," Taeho said. With Sunho keeping watch, Taeho used his mechanical skills to override the ship's security system. The door opened with a soft hiss. "Let's go," he whispered. They slipped inside just as an alarm began to sound throughout the station. The security agents had found their empty ship. Taeho started the engines of their new ship, while Sunho used the neural interface to access the cargo ship's simple defense systems. They undocked and moved away from the station as quickly as the slow cargo ship could go. "Unidentified vessel, return to dock immediately," came a voice over the communication system. Security ships began to launch from the station. They were faster than the cargo ship, but Taeho had one advantage. He understood engines better than most pilots. "Hold on," he told Sunho. "I'm going to try something." He modified the engine settings, bypassing safety protocols. The cargo ship lurched forward with sudden speed. The security ships fell behind as Taeho pushed the engines beyond their normal limits. "We need to jump to hyperspace before the engines burn out," he said. With a flash of light, the stars stretched into lines as they entered hyperspace, leaving Star's Edge behind. Safe for the moment, Taeho set up a small workshop in the cargo hold. Using the parts he had bought, he began working on Sunho's neural implant. "This will take time," he told the big cat. "But when I'm done, Ji-un won't be able to control you at all. You'll be completely free." Sunho rested its huge head on its paws, watching Taeho work. Through their connection, the predator sent feelings of gratitude and trust. As Taeho worked on the implant, he explained his plan. "We'll go to Veltar Station, but not directly. First, we need to gather evidence from some of Ji-un's smaller operations. We need to build a case that the Galactic Assembly can't ignore." Sunho's blue stripes glowed brighter, showing its approval of the plan. The big cat had spent its life as a weapon for Ji-un. Now it would be a weapon against her, fighting not just for its own freedom, but for all the other creatures she had created and enslaved. Together, the human mechanic and the engineered predator began their journey across the stars, hunters becoming heroes. 3 months had passed since Taeho and Sunho left Earth. In that time, they had visited 4 planets where Ji-un had secret operations. From each place, they gathered evidence, shipping records, samples of the crystal fuel, and most importantly, proof that Ji-un was creating and selling living weapons. Taeho had finished his work on Sunho's neural implant. The control functions were completely gone. Now the implant only helped them communicate with each other. Sunho was free but chose to stay with Taeho. They had become true partners. Their cargo ship approached Veltar Station, hidden in an asteroid field at the edge of known space. The station looked like a small moon, but it was made of metal. Its surface was covered with docking bays and defense weapons. "This is it," Taeho said. "Ji-un's main base. According to our information, the main lab is at the center of the station." Sunho stood beside Taeho, the big cat's muscles tense with anticipation. Through their mental connection, Taeho felt Sunho's mix of emotions. Excitement to free others, like itself, but also fear of seeing the place where it was created. "We need a plan to get inside," Taeho said. They studied the station's security systems. Ji-un's mercenaries patrolled everywhere. Getting in would not be easy. "Wait," Taeho said suddenly. "What if we don't sneak in? What if they bring us in?" Sunho tilted its head, confused by the idea. Taeho explained his plan. It was risky, but it might work. He set up a distress signal from their ship and changed its appearance to look damaged. "Veltar Station, this is cargo ship Aurora," Taeho said into the communication system. "We have engine failure and are drifting. Request emergency docking." There was a long pause before a response came. "Aurora, send identification codes." Taeho sent the codes they had taken from one of Ji-un's smaller operations. Another long pause followed. "Aurora, you are cleared for emergency docking at Bay 12. Prepare for tractor beam." A blue light from the station caught their ship and pulled it slowly toward a docking bay. Security teams would be waiting for them. "Remember the plan," Taeho said to Sunho. "Let them capture us. It's the only way to get to the center of the station." As predicted, when their ship docked, armed guards surrounded it. Taeho and Sunho surrendered without a fight. The guards seemed surprised by this but took them into custody. "Lady Ji-un will want to see these two personally," said the lead guard. "Take them to the central level." This was exactly what they wanted. The guards led them through the station, past security points that they could never have passed on their own. All the while, Taeho was using a small device hidden in his sleeve to map their route and scan for electronic systems. They were brought to a large room at the heart of the station. One wall was made entirely of glass, looking into an even larger space beyond. Through the glass, Taeho could see rows of tanks filled with blue liquid. Each tank contained a creature in various stages of development. Some looked like Sunho. Others were different designs, but all were clearly weapons made from mixed animal and alien DNA. Impressed by my collection? Ji-un walked into the room. She was tall and elegant, her black clothes decorated with silver that matched the silver streaks in her hair. Her eyes were cold as she looked at them. "I must admit I'm surprised," she said. "When I sent Sunho to kill a simple mechanic, I didn't expect you both to end up here." Taeho stood straight, meeting her gaze. These living weapons you're creating, they're not just things. They can think and feel. What you're doing is wrong. Ji-un laughed. Wrong? I'm creating the future. The perfect hunters. The perfect guardians. And they sell for millions of credits each. The Galactic Assembly doesn't understand the potential. They call it illegal. I call it progress. She turned to Sun-Ho. And you, my greatest creation, you've disappointed me. I put so much work into your design. You were supposed to be perfect, completely loyal. Sun-Ho growled, its blue stripes glowing brightly with anger. He is perfect, Tae-ho said. Perfect because he can choose. I didn't turn him against you. You did that yourself by treating him like a slave instead of a living being. Ji-un's face hardened. Enough talking. You've caused me enough trouble. Guards, take the human to a cell and put Sun-Ho in Tank 7. We'll need to reset its neural implant completely. This was the moment they had been waiting for. As the guards moved forward, Tae-ho pressed a button on the hidden device in his sleeve. All around the station, alarms began to sound. The security systems went into emergency mode, doors opening and closing at random. The evidence they had gathered at Ji-un's other operations was now being broadcast to every communication channel, including direct links to the Galactic Assembly. What have you done? Ji-un demanded. Exposed you, Tae-ho said. Everything is being sent to the authorities right now. All your records, all your secrets. Ji-un's face showed real fear for the first time. Stop him, she ordered the guards. Sun-Ho moved faster than anyone could react. The big cat knocked down 3 guards with a single leap. Tae-ho jumped onto Sun-Ho's back, the saddle and interface connecting them perfectly as they fought together. Ji-un ran from the room toward a private docking bay where her personal ship waited. Sun-Ho and Tae-ho followed, fighting their way past more guards. She's trying to escape, Tae-ho called. They chased Ji-un through the corridors of the station. Other guards were too busy dealing with the security system chaos to help her. They reached the private docking bay just as Ji-un was entering her ship. Sun-Ho leaped forward, powerful legs carrying both predator and human across the bay in seconds. They landed on the ship's ramp just before the door closed. Inside the ship, Ji-un turned in surprise as Sun-Ho and Tae-ho entered the main cabin. It's over, Tae-ho said. The Galactic Assembly ships are already on their way. Nothing is over, Ji-un said. She pressed a button on her wrist device. If I can't have my creations, no one will. Throughout the station, the tanks holding the engineered creatures began to drain. Emergency release systems activated. The creatures were waking up, confused and scared. You've released them all? Tae-ho asked in horror. They're not ready. They don't understand. Exactly, Ji-un said with a cruel smile. They'll destroy everything and everyone on this station, including you. But she had made one mistake. She had forgotten that Sun-Ho was no longer connected to her control system. The big cat stepped forward, eyes fixed on its former master. Sun-Ho is free, Tae-ho said, and now he's going to help free the others. Through the neural implant, Sun-Ho sent a powerful signal to all the newly released creatures. It shared feelings, memories, and most importantly, the concept of choice. They didn't have to destroy. They could choose another path. Throughout the station, the confused creatures stopped their attacks. They listened to Sun-Ho's mental call, a call from one of their own who had found freedom. Ji-un watched in disbelief as her plan failed. This is impossible. They're programmed to obey me. They're alive, Tae-ho said, and living things want freedom. The first Galactic Assembly ships arrived at the station. Security forces boarded and began to take control. Ji-un was placed under arrest for multiple violations of galactic law. In the aftermath, Tae-ho and Sun-Ho stood before the Assembly Council. The evidence they had gathered was overwhelming. Ji-un would face justice for her crimes. The question remains, said the council leader, what to do with the engineered beings. They were created illegally. They deserve the same rights as any intelligent species, Tae-ho argued. They can think, they can feel, they can choose. They didn't ask to be created as weapons, but now that they exist, they have the right to live freely. After much debate, the council agreed. The engineered beings would be recognized as a new sentient species with full rights under galactic law. 3 weeks later, Tai-Ho and Sun-Ho stood on the observation deck of a galactic assembly ship. In the space before them, a new habitat was being built, a place where Sun-Ho and the others like it could live freely. "What will you do now?" an assembly official asked Tai-Ho. Tai-Ho looked at Sun-Ho, his friend and partner. "We have a lot of work to do. There are more of Ji-Un's labs out there, more beings who need freedom, and the galaxy needs mechanics who understand both human and alien technology." Sun-Ho rumbled in agreement, its blue stripes glowing with contentment. The predator that had been sent to kill had instead found something better: purpose and friendship. Tai-Ho climbed onto Sun-Ho's back, the interface connecting them humming with shared thoughts. "Ready for the next adventure?" Tai-Ho asked. Sun-Ho's powerful muscles tensed in anticipation. Together, human and predator leaped forward toward whatever the galaxy held next. The mechanic and his cat riding into legend.